Shalom, we are going to continue our discussion of Parshas Korach. Now, we previously said that Korach comes over to Moshe and he starts dropping a lot of big claims. He says, Madua did nasu al Hashem. Why did you lift yourself up on the nation of Hashem? He brings, as we saw in Rashi, a family argument about how Korach's father really deserved to be the second in command, and suddenly Aaron gets to do it. And we saw that he brings the argument about the Chelet and the Talit. And we see that he doesn't specifically go after Moshe being leader, because that looks weird for him to do. But he goes after Aaron. And we're going to see in Moshe's response, what is Korach really thinking? After we already saw what he really is thinking in Rashi, that he's, from his argument, you can see what he really wants. He wants more power. Moshe's response is going to give us even more insight into what is Korach's issue. We're going to see how Moshe responds as a true leader should. So with that, we'll go into the psukim. We see that Moshe's immediate response is that he hears what Korach says. Vayishma Moshe, v'yipol apanav. Vayishma Moshe, Moshe hears everything that Korach says, everything Korach and Kol Eda says. V'yipol apanav. This is a reaction that is very common in Tanakh. V'yipol comes from the shoresh of nun, pei, lamed, to fall. V'yipol apanav. He falls on his face. He's so distraught. He's so upset that he has to deal with this. Why are you doing this? Right? Moshe just wants to do what Hashem wants. He just wants to help the people do what Hashem wants. And suddenly there's this rebellion. Suddenly they're challenging his authority. They're challenging Aaron. They're challenging everything that he's doing. He's not making these things up. He's not deciding who's going to be leader. And he's really upset by this. He's really upset by what's going on and how this is threatening to tear the Jewish people apart. V'yishma Moshe v'yipol apanai, falls on his face. But then, like a real leader, after he's upset and that reaction, he's going to get up and he has to confront Korach back. And he's going to come up with a test to figure out, what does Hashem really want? So we have Moshe's response. Vadaber el Korach ve'el kol adato lemor. He's going to speak to Korach and the entire assembly, everyone that is guys. Lemor, he said, Boker v'yoda Hashem et asher lo. In the morning we're going to check. Language of Boker is from kind of the morning, but it also only hints at like Biker Cholim, to visit. We're going to see v'yoda Hashem, and we're going to see what is Hashem going to make known in that morning. Et asher lo. Who is for him? Sometimes in life, we have an argument and we're trying to win because we want what we want, right? It's not that we honestly think that we're right. We just want to win. So we figure out, how are we going to convince you that we're right? And we can come up with some really good stories, really good arguments that aren't actually true. Korach has a really good argument. Kulam Kadoshim. They're all holy. Right? You're giving us weird halachot about the chelet and the talis, and you're making Aaron, even though there seems to be a firstborn thing going on, but then a second, but gets skipped, and the age. But that's not what a Korach really wants. What does Korach really want? He wants what he wants. He wants power. Who is Asher Lo? Who is for Hashem? That's what Moshe wants. All Moshe wants is to do the right thing. Right? The Et HaKadosh. Who is the Kadosh? Korach, you made a claim against the Kulam Kadoshim. Who is Kadosh? Why are you lifting up? We'll see who Hashem says is the most Kadosh. V'hichriv alive. And Hashem is going to bring that person close. Right? Kuf, Resh, Vet, means to bring close. A korban brings us close to Hashem. V'hikriv means he's going to cause him to come close to alive. V'et asher yivchar bo, yakriv alive. Vet chet resh, to choose. Yivchar, he will choose. Who's choosing? Hashem's going to choose. It's not about me, Moshe says. It's about Yivchar bo, who's Hashem going to choose. V'yachriv alive. He's going to bring that person close to him. So what Moshe says back to Korach, V'deber al Korach ve'al kol edato lemor boker v'yoda. In the morning, we're going to know who Hashem has made known, Asher Lo, who's for Hashem, V'et HaKadosh, who's holy, V'hikriv Life, who's close to Hashem, meaning that he's bringing him to do his job, V'et Asher Yivchar Bo, who does Hashem choose, V'yachriv Life. So how are we going to do that? We have a test. Zot Asu. Asu is from the Shorash Ayin, Sam, Sin, Hey, to do, to make. Zot Asu, this is what we're going to do. Tichu lechem machtot Korach v'kol adato. You're going to take, cook, tichu is the same, lekach, lamed, kuf, chet, for yourselves, machtot, these pans, trays, that you burn things inside of, incense. Ordinarily, the one doing incense, called ketoret, is the Kohen. This time, you're going to take them. Korach v'kol adato, you guys are going to take these pans. What are you going to do? V'tnu v'hem eish. You're going to put inside of them eish. V'tnu is from that word natan. Nun, taf, nun. You're going to put inside of them eish. V'simu alehem ketoret. You're going to place on those, simu is the place, alehem ketoret. You're going to place the spices and herbs and things that have a really good smell, incense. And ordinarily during the korbanot, the Kohen would put the ketoret on, and it would smoke, and it would fill the Mishkan, and that would be a sign that the korban was being accepted. Well, now you guys are going to do it. Lifnei Hashem machar. Tomorrow we're all going to do it. And you know what? Whoever Hashem chooses for the korban to be accepted, that's Asher Lo. That's the person for Hashem. V'haya ish asher yivchar Hashem. Not about Moshe. Not about Korach. V'yivchar Hashem. Who Hashem chooses. Who? HaKadosh. He is the Holy One. Now Moshe does something awesome. He takes that same phrase that Korach said against Moshe, Rav, B'nei Levi, and turns it right back to Korach. You know what? Korach's also a Levi. We saw that in introduction. Korach is coming from the same amount of power based on his family as Moshe is. Rav lachem B'nei Levi. Moshe says to Korach, it's too much for you, B'nai Levi. Turn that thing on his face. Turn it on its head. Suddenly, it's not about Moshe having too much power, but about Korach taking on too much. B'nai Levi, it's too much for you. What does that mean? Moshe continues. Vayomer Moshe el Korach. Vayomer versus Vayadaber is a little bit softer. Shimu na B'nai Levi. Now he wants him to just listen. He wants to speak to him understanding. Hama'at lechem. Hama'at's like, it's a little bit. It's just a little bit for you. Ki hivdel Elokei Yisrael etchem me'adat Yisrael la'achriv etchem. Is it not enough for you? Ki hivdil, that dalad lamed means to separate. Elokei Yisrael, the God of the Jewish people, has already separated you, Adat Yisrael, from the rest of the Jewish people. You're already elevated. You already have a special job, to bring him close to you. You're Levim. That's already special. La'avod et avodat Mishkan Hashem. You get to work in the Mishkan Hashem. You get to work there. You get to do the jobs. You get to do what Hashem wants to do. The same thing the Kohanim do, okay? A little bit different, but it's very, very similar. You get to stand in front of the whole assembly anyway, to serve them. That's what the Kohanim do. They're serving the people and Hashem. They're bringing them together. He says, is it not enough for you that you're already Levium? Come on, what are you doing here? I'm going to say what he does. You already are close. You already brought closer to the service of Hashem. You and Kol Achacha, all your brothers, the B'nai Levi, the whole Shevet of Levi. And here is where it comes down. Uvikashtem gam kahuna? You already have a really good job. Uvikashtem gam kahuna, bikesh, to request, to desire, to want. You also want the kahuna? You also want to be the Kohen? You also want to be the priest of Hashem? You want more? Moshe says, you're not arguing with me about logic. You're not arguing with me about fairness. You're not arguing about what the halachot mean and don't mean. What are you arguing about? Ubikashtem gam kahuna. You want more. You're greedy. That's all you really want. Lechein ata v'chol adatcha hanoadim al Hashem va'al mahu. That reason, that's why you're arguing with Hashem. Noadim, rebelling about Hashem va'aron mahi. Kitalino alive. You argue and complain against him. It's not that you think it's not fair. It's not that you're really upset by it. Uvikashtem gam kahuna. You just want the kahuna. Moshe is trying to say, Korach, it's too much. Let's make a real argument. Let's see, Yivchar Hashem. What does Hashem want? Asher lo. What's for Hashem? You just want personal greatness. That's not the way a Jewish leader works. Jewish leaders humble. I'm not trying to do anything for my own good, Moshe says. I'm doing what Hashem told me to do. If you remember back, Moshe really tried to push off being a leader. Suddenly Korach says, I want to be the leader. Now, I can't try to overthrow Moshe. It's not going to work that way. Moshe is the one that went up to Har Sinai, and Moshe is the one that was told in the Midbar. There's too much there. You know what I can do? I can try to get the kahuna. I can try to get from Aaron a Kohen. Moshe says, that's all you're doing. I see through you. That doesn't work. That bothers me. If you think something is not fair, if you have a question, ask. If you just want more, if you're greedy and you're trying to trick everybody into rebelling against Moshe, based on what you want, your power struggle, your power hungriness, your desire for power, that's a problem. And that, Moshe says, we have to stop. And we're going to do it fair and square. We're going to see who Hashem wants. We take the incense, whoever Hashem accepts, it'll be very clear. Machar, tomorrow.